All right, welcome back. It is Wednesday, the 31st of March. It is baseball season here in the sports barn. It's time for some baseball. This is our 2021 MLB preview show where we're going to just basically go through the teams here real quick and look at their over-under numbers and try to figure out who we're betting, who we're fading, who we like, who we don't. And just for fun, we'll say who's going to win the World Series and who they're going to defeat in the World Series. So all that good stuff. Before we get into all that, congratulations to all the Final Four teams, particularly UCLA and Mick Cronin, who we bashed repeatedly here in the barn. He's done it. He's finally done it. He's made his first Final Four in underdog fashion, which maybe that's his style. I don't know. But the guy has a under 500 against the spread record, but he has come smashing through in this year's Final Four, defeating Michigan. One thing I noted about that game, and I've kind of had this feeling, for the whole tournament. Just, I don't know, and I could be totally wrong, but it just seems like you're seeing weird things happen in this tournament. I mean, more weird than, people wearing masks all over the place and random pieces of plexiglass just everywhere, that kind of nonsense. I'm talking more about the game itself, where it just seems like these teams are just, will run out of gas at the weirdest times. Alabama, they were up against UCLA. They couldn't make a shot at the end. They looked exhausted. Then Michigan, same deal. They just totally ran out of gas. I don't know what to say. I saw a lot of Michigan basketball this year, and I don't think I saw them airball one three-pointer the whole season. Unless you're talking about, a three-quarter court at the end of the half heave. But other than that, those are dead-eye shooters. Here, that kid from Germany, Wagner, he comes off a screen. He's got a wide open three there with about, 30 seconds to go? Not even 20 seconds to go to put Michigan in the lead. And he airballs it. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen that kid airball a shot all year long. And then Michigan again charges down the court with 4 seconds to go with a chance to win the game. And they get an open look. Somehow they get a wide open look at a three, and the kid misses it. I mean, that's the type of shot Michigan was making all year long. I don't know. I mean, I'm tempted to lay it off on the pandemic, which is just causing the conditioning of these teams to be completely out of whack. Who knows? Maybe I should credit Cronin. I mean, maybe he's just wearing these other teams out, and they're tapping out before the end of the game. They're just exhausted. So, I don't know. He's going to have his hands full with Gonzaga, though, it appears there. I don't know how far plucky defense and can-do attitude's going to, do against NBA talent. So, we'll see there. All right. What else? Well, let's get to the baseball here. As you may or may not remember, they had a portion of a season last year, 60 games. Then they had some playoffs, which were like in weird places. I forgot all about that they played these playoff games not in the home stadiums. Just a complete abortion of a season. I mean, does it count? I don't know. I mean, I like to bust Chuck Armstrong's balls because he won our fantasy baseball league, and tell him it doesn't count. If I had won it, would I say it counts? I don't know. I mean, 60 games is 60 games. Win it, don't win it. It's still 60 games. I mean, it's not 162 games. So it I guess it's the depends how you want to look at it. But I mean, the Dodgers did win the thing. Um, normally I would say, when a team wins it or such, that they're hungry then or not hungry, or they, had it. I don't know the Dodgers are going to be satisfied. Let's do the National League first since I'm starting to talk about the Dodgers. So, I'll put up my little slide here for the National League. And in what we got there is, the team. SI stands for Sports Illustrated. I saw somebody working for them had made some predictions, and they had win totals. So I thought, well, I'll steal this. So I put that up there. Fan Graphs. That's a predictive statistical baseball website that really gets into some nitty gritty stuff where with stats and what have you. And then what was the last one? Oh, yeah, Covers. Covers is pretty much your traditional, what the odds are presently as far as over-under numbers go. In other words, if you go to your bookie and say, I want to bet whether the Phillies are going to win more than, or less, each team has a number for the season as to what the bookie thinks that team's going to win for the year. So I took those numbers, added them up, came up with an average, and that's how I put them up on the board there. So I'm kind of going, well, I don't have to go by memory. I can pull up right here what you're looking at. So you see down there in the bottom of the Dodgers, I put the little green dollar sign. Not having luck with the green dollar sign. I mean, maybe I got to come up with new symbols. Man, that's why we had such a bad college basketball season. Maybe it's our symbols. Maybe that's what it is. But at any rate, 101 wins, that seems ridiculously high. And how on earth can you say the Dodgers are going to win more than 101 games? Because most teams, generally speaking, don't win 101 games. Well, we think that's going to happen. I just think the Dodgers are ridiculously good. They won easily over 100 games a couple years ago. In 19, I think they were up around 100. I'm going by memory. Last year, the Dodgers were playing at a 115 win clip. And it's really the same collection of guys, and I don't know that they're old. Sure, Kershaw's getting older, but then, is he the main guy anymore? He never is the main guy in the playoffs. He's just a dude in the playoffs. And now they add Trevor Bauer. So if Trevor Bauer stays healthy, the Dodgers can do it all. They can hit, they can pitch, they can field, they can catch, they can run, they can throw. I don't know. Not only that, they're in a division where they're going to play Colorado, Arizona, and San Francisco. What's 18 times 3? Do I have that right? That's the normal schedule. That's half their season is going up against, not half, a third of their season. A third of their season is against San Francisco, Arizona, Colorado. You could be talking about 40 wins right there. So should be talking about 40 wins right there for the Dodgers. So, I think they're going to win 100 games. Well, I guess the over-under numbers. 1025. I guess that's the actual bookie number. I note the bookie number is higher than Fangraphs and SI. I guess they're just the bookie's looking for people like me. I guess they're suckers, but I don't think this is. I think I'm right about this. The Dodgers are just, I think they're the best team in the league, and it's not close. So I think you're getting value there. I know that sounds crazy. I think that sounds about as square as it gets. Oh, let's take the Dodgers in the over. But I really like that Dodger team. I don't think there's a lot of, unless they just totally don't care and just mail it in, get a 20-game lead in July and just, take the second half of the season off. But I don't know. Good teams often don't do that. They just, they generally get in their rhythm and they do their thing. So, all right. So we like the Dodgers. The rest of that division, we're backwards here. We're starting in the NL West. Believe it or not, I'm not that much of a Padre fan. That team's going to have to prove it to me. That's a team that's done, had some bursts of good play over a short abortion of a season, but that's a team that has not done it over the long haul. I'm not impressed with their pitching staff. Dinelson Lamet. I got that wrong. I'm sure I butchered that up, but he's hurt. Paddock is young. You Darvish, show me you can stay healthy. Blake Snell, he can't throw more than 70 pitches in a game. You guys are going to have to prove it to me. They have a lot of young, exciting talent there. Tatis Jr. obviously leading the charge there. But then the rest of them, you got to do it. You got to prove it to me. So I think 95.5 is way too high for those guys. I would look to fade this team. And then Arizona, I don't know much about Arizona other than I was looking at their numbers and it was like, and their players, it's like, what the hell? I mean, who are these guys? This is bad. I mean, Madison Bumgarner at this point in his career, I think is just a bad pitcher. I don't think this guy, he can get all grumpy and Mr. Ball game him all he wants, but he can't get anybody out. So, and he's their best pitcher probably. I probably forget. Well, the best pitcher's hurt. That Zach Gallen, he's hurt. So it looked like Arizona could just have a lost year there. Colorado's going to be bad, but then everybody knows Colorado's going to be bad. So I don't know there's a whole lot of value there. I mean, one thing I did note about Colorado is they had 3 guys in the pandemic that threw like 80 innings each. I'm exaggerating. It was like maybe 70 innings each. Sentinella, I'm sure I mispronounced that. That's one of the advantages of getting old. You can mispronounce stuff and nobody cares because they just say, oh, he's an old man. So I'm an old man, so I can mispronounce stuff. Sentinella, something like that. Freeland and Marquez. I'm pretty sure I got that close to right. If those 3 dudes can throw 200 innings, among each, Colorado's going to win more than 62 games. If they can do that, they will win more than 62 games. So, something to keep an eye out there. Is there sneaky pitching in Colorado? Guys getting people out? Guys getting deep into ball games? Is this happening? I noticed I didn't put the $ there because I don't actually think this is going to happen. But if I thought if they could replicate that over the long haul this year, Colorado could, no, they're not going to make the playoffs. What I'm talking about is there might be a place we can cash some plus 160 bets every now and then. That's what we're talking about there. So. All right, NL East, let's talk that. Let's get back in order. NL East, I like Atlanta. I won't lie. I think that's a team that just seems to produce young talent, just comes from seemingly nowhere. And you say, who's Ian Anderson? I actually had to do that at our fantasy baseball draft because our commissioner's a fine, upstanding man who, just to screw with me, refuses to tell you where the guys play because he makes you look it up for yourself. It's like, no, I got nothing else to do. So Ian Anderson, not the lead singer of Jethro Tull, He's a guy you never heard of who's a starter. Who's getting outs, who's going to get outs. They seem to produce these kind of guys that just show up out of nowhere, and then they put them with their. I think about this. From being in Philadelphia, it's like, well, there's Acuna out there, one of the best outfielders in the league. I think he's 16. And, I've got guys that we drafted 6 years ago, Mickey Moniak. We picked him with the #1 pick in the entire draft. I think the guy's now 27, and he can't even get on the field. Meanwhile, they got some 16-year-old running around out there killing people. And we got Mickey Moniak, who's about to draw a pension. He's been in our system so long. And no wonder my team stinks. But you gotta hand it to the Braves. I mean, they do it the right way, I guess. So we like them up top. We think they're the class of the NL East. We don't think it's close. The Mets at 90 wins. I mean, no, that's a prove it to me team. That you got to prove it. No, I'm not buying it. Not buying it. I mean, I guess what the argument is that DeGrom is spectacular, but he never wins. He never wins. He goes out there, he pitches his 100 pitches, gets himself into the 6th inning, no runs, 6 innings, and then the bullpen blows it. Does that sound familiar, subscriber F? He's a Mets fan. I mean, that's what happens, right? I'm not wrong on that. You're going to get Syndergaard back. He'll last, 3 months, 2 months before he gets hurt again. And then now you have all these rent players that, are new superstars you paid for. Lindor. I'm sure he'll be good, I guess. But how are you going to get wins in the 8th and 9th inning? Your bullpen's your bullpen. You guys need Jesse Orosco back. Got to get guys like that back. Where's John Franco now? So I don't know. Mets got to prove it to me. I'm not. But 90 wins? I mean, I don't know. They missed the playoffs altogether last year, just like the freaking Phillies. They took the whole damn league practically, and the Mets and the Phillies stayed home. Oh, and the Nationals. We all stayed home. We're taking the Nationals. We're backing them. I think that's a bounce-back team. There's a lot of veterans on that team that I think will show some pride now in a real season. Plus, I mean, how can you go wrong unless you got injuries? And I think for the most part, these guys, Scherzer, Strasburg, Corbin, Lester, I think they've been pretty durable throughout their careers. These ancient 35, 36, 37-year-olds, they just do what they do. They know how to get their bodies ready. They don't stress their bodies or their arms beyond what they know they can handle. And as long as they're rolling those guys out every 4th or 5th day, that's a tough team to bet against, I would think. So that definitely looks like a 90-win team to me. With those guys healthy. So I think we're looking for value there. The Marlins, they made the playoffs last year, if you can believe that. The general consensus is this is a 70-win team. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of young players on that team, and maybe some of them actually start to get better. Some I think just stink. Jorge Alfaro, he just hasn't really blossomed in much of anything, and he's the catcher, so that's an important piece, and he just hasn't really got it yet. But then there are other guys there that, if one of these guys turns into something before they trade him, then the Marlins might actually be good, or at least average. Hell, again, this might be a place we can look to cash some plus 160, plus 170 bets. The Marlins were one of the best values you had last year in the pandemic year. If you'd bet the Marlins all year long, you would have returned, I think roughly 20% on your money. So, that's pretty damn good. Will they do it again? I don't know. But, I think at 70 wins, I think it's a better chance than not that the Marlins are going to be, I think Marlins are going to be above 70. Let's put it that way. And then the Phillies. The Phillies. No one's talking about this team, which makes me think everyone knows this team's going to be bad. Even the players themselves. Nobody's rushing to a microphone saying, no one's picking us, and we're going to win the division, and we're good. And they're not doing that because they know it's not true. They know they're going to look like fools. I mean, Jimmy Rollins, I remember back in the day when the Phillies were on the move, before they'd won anything, he would come out and he'd say, hey, yeah, we're the team to beat in this division, even though they hadn't won anything. And lo and behold, they were the team to beat. He was right. Of course, nobody's doing that because the Phillies are not the team to beat. You got overpaid players all over the lineup, all over the roster. They did something, one of the, I think it was SI, Sports Illustrated, did an interesting thing where they had a square. Let's see if I can find a marker that actually writes here. Well, that's what you get for not preparing. I don't have, wait, what's this? This might work. How about this? Oh yeah, there we go. And it was broken into quadrants. And then it's on like an X and Y axis, if you will. So the one axis is wins, and the other axis is payroll. So wins would be over here, and payroll would be up here. So the Dodgers were here in that they had the most wins and almost the most payroll. So they were at the max of both. That would be the upper right-hand corner. Then you had some other teams that were over here. That means they had a bunch of wins, but had a very low payroll. And then the only team that was in this little quadrant here were the Phillies. In other words, we got a super high payroll and we don't win. Which means we got a really, really shitty management. So what can you say there? And we're not going to win this year either. It's just that there's no pitching. This team does not catch the ball at all. They have overpaid veterans, of which are all slow, poor defensive players. Their bullpen's the worst in the league. Fortunately, I do not particularly like that team. And when you're a fan and you're as old as I am, you have to root for your local team. That's in the fan code somewhere. When you're a sports fan, they hand you this fan code when you're a child and say, you want to be a fan, here's the code. And part of the code is you have to root for your local team. Doesn't mean you have to necessarily like the local team. You have to root for them, but it doesn't mean you have to like them. And certainly there have been Phillies teams that I liked more than others. I loved that 1993 team. Oh my God, those were my boys. Loved that team. And really the golden era team, the 08, 09, 10 Phillies, they weren't too far behind. I don't know, they had quite the character, if you will. I don't want to say characters of the 93 team. They were certainly better, definitely better. I love that team too. This edition of the Phillies, I'm not going to cry when they lose. It's going to be kind of like, oh, they lost again? Shazam. Who could have seen that coming? So who knows? Maybe they'll put together 3 straight months of good baseball and win me over. And, no one loved the 93 team until they started winning. And then a tidal wave built up in Philadelphia. But I think it's going to take more than a month of good baseball from this bunch to, build goodwill. So I don't expect it to happen. That's why we got the Red X there. Next. Okay, next. The American League. Well, we got the Yankees. I'm not buying the Yankees. I think this team's overrated. Am I crazy? I mean, their number 2 starter is Corey Kluber. He hasn't pitched in 2 years. Am I just nuts? It's like, why all of a sudden is this guy going to be good again? Just because the Yankees have him? He couldn't get on the rubber in Texas. He just couldn't do it. And now suddenly we expect him to be good just because he puts the pinstripes on? I don't know. I think the bullpen is pretty good, if they can keep Chapman healthy. But then again, I remember, I don't know if you guys, I had to refresh my memory because the pandemic playoffs were just, they just didn't stick in my mind. Wasn't something but there was an exciting 5th game there. Game 5, Tampa, New York, to go to the ALCS, to go to the Final Four, if you will. And it's tied at 1 in the 5th game. It's in the 8th, late in the game, I guess, even though this is it's a game, I'm thinking if I have this right. I don't even know if I do. I think I do. Tampa was the home team, even though this game's played in San Diego. Again, all shit I never want to repeat ever in my life. But, so Tampa's late in the game, bottom of the 8th. Chapman is on the mound against Mike Brasso, a guy he buzzed earlier in the season, threw 100 at his head. Which the Rays did not appreciate. And Brasso, after 10 pitches, fouling him off, takes out Chapman, the great Mike Brasso. Homers to beat Aroldis Chapman. So I don't know, Chapman's the end-all, be-all closer, if you will. He's getting older, and he's just not that good anymore. I mean, he's still above average, but he's not Mariano Rivera. Can I say that without getting everybody pissed off? I think that's something pretty fair to say. And then the rest of the Yankees, I just, Judge, Stanton, are they actually going to be on the field? Do it. Prove it to me. You guys can actually stay on the field for 160 games, because I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I believe you can hit the ball 600 feet when you make contact with it. I just don't think you're actually going to be standing in the batter's box ready to do that. The Yankees are going to be good. They'll probably make the playoffs. But, mid-90s win total, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. The team I like here is Tampa. I mean, that's the one where I'm just like, what the hell? I mean, they got New York 12 games better than Tampa. Tampa beat the Yankees last year. They beat them in the aforementioned playoff game, Game 5. They went on to the World Series to lose to the fantastic Dodgers. I don't know. I mean, Tampa, the last full season they played, they won 96 games. Last year, they were playing at a over 100-win pace all year long. And now you're saying they're going to only win, mid-80s? Why? I don't see that. I'm not getting that. Because they lost Charlie Morton? Blake Snell, who only throws 70 pitches a game? I'm not seeing that. these guys have success doing their weird stuff. Let's throw a guy for the first trip through the lineup, and then we replace him with 10,000 relievers. And that seems to work for him. I don't know why. I guess it's because of relievers. What'd the dude say? He has a whole stable of guys that throw 98. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the Phillies have that too. They just can't throw it anywhere they want it to go. I guess his guys can get it over the plate. So, I guess that's important. So, yeah, I like Tampa. I think that's a safe bet there that we will be looking for places to play them. I think we'll be able to still get a fair price with a premium team. The White Sox, I definitely like that team. How could you not? They have so much young talent. So much young talent. I mean, they lost a guy. I still think they're a premium team. That Jimenez, he's out for probably most of the season, but I don't think they're really going to miss him. They got so much young talent on that team, and some of it even pitches. They have a good bullpen. They have good starters. They picked up Lance Lynn, one of my heroes, because the guy just goes out and throws 100 pitches every outing. He gets deep into the game. I mean, that's something I think that is completely overlooked and underrated anymore. It's like, oh, Jacob deGrom, he struck out 12 guys in 6 innings, and what a fantastic outing. And then he turned it over to 3 innings of shit. It's like, you got to get deeper into the game, dude. You got to get further into the game. But that's just me. And then the Indians, I like the Indians. I don't know, 81 wins? 81 wins? I know no one can hit on this team. I get it. But, gee, I mean, find me a better starting rotation than these guys. I mean, Bieber up top, and then Zach Plesac, and then, you got Savali and that rookie or second-year kid, Tristan McKenzie. Man, that's pretty good. That's really pretty good. And a good bullpen with that. Mostly good bullpen. I know they lost their closer, but I don't know. I don't have to win 100 games to have value here. I just need to be better than average, and I think that's better than average right there. So we like the Indians. Kansas City was an interesting team to me in that I think this is an improving team. I think this is definitely a team to be looking for. But then the numbers are, I think the numbers have already gone there. Maybe not the bookie number is still pretty low. I mean, if you were going to your bookie and they said, well, we'll give you 72.5 on them, I think I would buy that. I think the Royals are going to win more than 72 games. But then, Fang and SI already think the Royals are going to be better. Well, I think that the Fang and SI numbers are about right. So 76 feels about right. Detroit, I don't know what to do there. That's, a bad team, but they've been bad. Them and Baltimore. Baltimore was actually a good bet last year. They made you money if you played the Orioles all year long. But those teams now, I don't know. They've had a lot of years of being awful. So that means that a lot of young picks are now starting to come through the system and are getting to the point where they're getting ready to play. And sometimes, you just win almost by accident. You've just generated so much talent in the system by being bad that you can't help but win a few games just because you've got some talent there. I Baltimore, Detroit, don't know if they're as bad as they're going to be or have been. Houston, I think that's a team that's on the downslide. No Verlander, no Garrett Cole, no Framber Valdez. They'll have decent pitching, but their bats are starting to get old. It's no George Springer. I don't know. And then the Angels. I don't know why. That's a pretty wide discrepancy there of how the Angels are seen. The bookies see that the way I see it. And then Fang and SI think they're going to be good. I don't think that team's going to be good. I see no reason why that team would be good. Ohtani's going to stay healthy? Really? What's he going to be? Is he going to be the next Babe Ruth as a pitcher or a hitter? Or is he going to stay healthy at all? I would very much bet against the Angels. We like Oakland. Oakland, I think, is one of those. They're Tampa. I mean, they're going to bring guys, put them on the field that you never heard of, and they're going to do business. It's just their model. They've been pretty successful doing that. I think they're going to do it again. That's the team I like to win that division, Oakland. I mean, that's a real, of all the divisions, I guess. Well, we like Tampa in the East. We're going to say the White Sox in the Central, Oakland in the West. The other team in the West we didn't mention there, Seattle. I think that's a team that really has a lot of good young talent that's starting to get on the field. And I think this finally could be a year that they push 500, frankly. I think this is a year that they are going to be competitive, that they're not just going to be a team that reels off 10 straight losses, a roadkill, fill in the wins on the scorecard for the other team type outfit. I think this year Seattle really has some talent up there, young, good talent that they've gotten maybe from trades from other organizations, but we like Seattle. So, all right. I don't know. This seems like a long one, but that's what we have here. I guess we got to come right back and give you some picks for tomorrow. It's opening day tomorrow, so I'm going to have to think about that, come up with a couple picks for you. So that'll be in a future video, not too far into the future video. And there you have that. So thanks for being here. We're getting ready for the big baseball season. That'll keep us busy all summer. Good, great. Our 10-year project goes on and on. We're in year 2. So that's what we like. Hit the like button. Thanks. We'll see you again.